Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Somebody who's very insightful, I believe very wise, helps a lot of people, told me this recently. I am moving in the direction of my greatest dreams. And I look at that every day. It's on the wall. And that person who told me that or suggested that we use that phrase is with us today. And we're going to talk about why it's never too late to fulfill your dreams. And this is what she does. She is a certified dream builder coach, helps with so many different situations. You're stuck. She moves you forward. She's got insight. Great to have her back here. Kristina Smith is on the program. How are you today?
Steve, I am absolutely awesome.
Same. And I want to thank you again for that phrase because it's in front of me. I need to make it bigger in front of me. And I agree with you. It's never too late. It's it's endless. We can do pretty much whatever we want to if we're in the right mindset. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Steve, it's interesting. I am on my laptop all the time or my phone working and just finding out what's happening. And every day I look and see so many people who are young that have passed away. And I believe that if we are still on this earth, it is because we have a mission. We have a purpose. There's a reason why we're still here. And I just think that people should be open. And I know people are busy. People are very busy. I think people should take time to stop and reflect, why am I still here? And what am I supposed to be doing?
I saw a post today, actually. And essentially it was, there are many people your age that aren't here anymore.
Right.
It kind of puts it into perspective that I never thought of it the way that you just presented it, that we're still here.
Right.
For a reason.
Yes.
How do you figure out what the reason is?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. And I'm not necessarily thinking that we have to sit down and figure it out exactly. But I think God, the universe, whatever higher power you believe in, or even if you don't believe in a higher power, I believe that we all get signals. And those signals show up in our longing and discontent. And so when we focus on, this is one of the most profound questions, what would I love? When we focus on what would I love and figure out that thing that we would love, that's what we're supposed to move towards. So it might not be I'm supposed to go conquer the world, but I'm supposed to fulfill something, some longing or discontent that is within me. And when I do that, I feel free. I feel happy. I feel vibrant. I feel like this is why I'm here.
I 1,000,000,000% agree with you that we get signs, we get signals. I want to share lyrics of a song. I get downloads all the time. And when I get them, and I can't play music. I can't sing. None of the above. I've played music on the radio for decades and still do. And this song showed up 2 days ago. I have listened to this song at least 40 times, over and over and over. And I started dissecting the lyrics. It was a hit song in the mid-90s. And it goes like this. Take these chances. Place them in a box until a quieter time. Lights down, you up and die. And the song is Ants Marching by Dave Matthews.
Wow.
I've never been like a huge fan. You know, it was a good song back in the mid-90s. And then, I listened to it. Yeah, it's got a funky little fiddle going on there. All good. Then I look at the lyrics, and essentially what he's saying is we're all ants marching. And actually, he was, I think, in Costa Rica when he wrote the song, and he saw ants, crawling up the bark of a tree. And it's like we're every day, same thing, every day, every day, every day. And take these chances. What he's saying is we don't take these chances, and we should,
Mhm.
because we put them in a box for a quieter time. Because we say to ourselves, "Yeah, I'm too busy to get to that. I just can't. You know, that's really what I want in life. I'm going to circle back when things get a little more quiet, and then you die."
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's been playing over and over. And it's like, I don't know if that's a message for me, all of us. I think it's kind of universal, and we do that. But a lot of times we put those dreams in a box for a reason. We're not busy. Yeah, we think we're busy.
Right.
We might think we don't deserve those dreams. We might think
Mhm.
that it's not attainable, so I don't want to fail, so I'm just going to throw it in the box. That's what I'm pulling from this. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100%. Um, and I think I'm learning. I'm not going to talk about what anyone else should do, but I'm just learning. I want to live my best life today. I want to live my best life today.
Hmm.
I am not putting off things anymore.
Yeah.
I was in a group yesterday and we were having a conversation. I said, look, I have more Saturdays behind me than I have in front of me.
Mm, ow,
And
ow.
yeah, I know. So the point is that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it today. And it's so much fun. I think people don't spend enough quiet time. I think, we're so busy getting things done. We've got our to-do list, we've got to check off the to-do list. I really want to encourage people to schedule time to be quiet, whether that's earlier in the morning before anyone else gets up or late at night when people go to bed.
Hmm.
Um, to spend some time being quiet. It is amazing the things that come to you that wouldn't ordinarily in your day-to-day busyness.
And I think that's where that song came. I
Hmm.
was, I lately take a couple of days out of the week and I just lay in bed. I try not to watch TV or get deflected by, digital stuff. And I started listening to songs, like really
Hmm.
get into the lyrics. What's going on here? Reading them. And I think that's one of those songs that came up. And I was almost right about to fall asleep. And they say that's when you really are plugged in to your inner self.
Yes,
It's like a
absolutely.
hypnotic state right before you
Yeah.
fall asleep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at YouTube and I saw this physician who said, I'm always looking to see who's got the latest, how you should eat and what you should drink, all this stuff. But this one physician was really pretty unique. He said the first hour when you wake up in the morning is really important.
Mm.
And he said, get up and hydrate. And he said, not just with water, but with those little sports tablets. They're,
With
God,
electrolytes.
yeah, electrolytes, that's the
Okay.
word.
Yeah, there's powders you could do, and
Yeah, yeah.
just put them in your
So
water. Yeah.
take electrolytes first thing in the morning. He said, if you end up going to the hospital and you're dehydrated, they don't just give you a bag of water. What do they give you? A bag of salt water.
Yeah, yeah.
So those electrolytes have some potassium and sodium in it. And then he said, stay off your phone for the first hour. That is so hard. I roll over and look at my phone before I get out of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see what's in my bank account. I want to see, what's going on. He said, first hour, don't get on your phone.
Mm.
Go outside and let the sunlight hit your eyes with no sunglasses. Just let the sun hit your eyes. It really gets your brain and your
Mm.
body circulating. And he said, do some stretches. So it was really interesting. I'm actually moving that into place. I'm starting to do some of those things. I've started getting up, drinking electrolytes first thing in the morning, going to my front door and
Wow.
just standing outside. Yeah, I'm doing some of that stuff. And it's really pretty interesting what I'm seeing.
Wow. With the weather getting warmer, especially
Hmm.
where we are in the east and northeast, really
Hmm.
no excuse not to go
Yeah,
outside.
absolutely.
And what we're talking about here too is being outside, you're grounded.
Yes.
You're grounded. You're starting your day in nature. I think the way we were designed to start our day,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I know we're way off topic, but You mentioned the word grounding, and I'm telling you, there's something to it. I go out and water my flowers,
Mm,
and I stand in my bare feet
yeah.
to ground with the earth, and it really makes a difference.
Um, hold on one second.
Hmm. Don't tell me you have a grounding mat.
Right there.
I do too.
And it's connected to a little dongle there that goes to your electrical outlet. You're not going to get a
Yes,
shock. It just goes to the ground log. And where does that go? Through your building, house, whatever,
yes.
into a copper wire that goes to a copper rod that's typically 4 feet long in the ground. In the
Hey,
ground.
look, I got to tell
Yeah.
you this. I got to tell you this. I know this. I had back surgery, and it was really pretty. The recovery time for me was a lot longer than I had hoped, and I had neuropathy on my feet.
Wow. Mm,
And I had grounding sheets, but I got a grounding mat just like the one you have, and I put it in my bed and just slept with my feet on the grounding mat, and it really helped me get through the neuropathy much faster than I had
wow.
I not had that. Yeah.
Thanks for the
Hmm.
reminder because I bought those sheets a while ago and then I
Hmm.
forgot,
Yeah.
after a couple of
Yeah.
months, I changed the bed. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
change it every week,
Right,
but
right, right.
at one time I did it.
Hmm.
I forgot to put the mat back on, the
Yeah,
grounding
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
sheet. So I'll
yeah,
do that today. But
yeah.
yeah,
Good idea.
what are the things we're talking about here? First of all, walking outside free,
Hmm.
grounding mat, you're at work all day. If you can,
Hmm.
take your shoes off and put your feet on it, I think it's like 15, $20, if that. The
Yeah.
sheet, same price there. Um, but the value is so much more. There's been
Yeah.
times, and I woo woo alert, I get it. If you don't want to, if you don't want to agree with us, we understand. But
Hmm.
I've gotten to the point where there are sometimes I need a tree. I'll come home and I'm like, I get out of my car and I got a tree right there next to the driveway. I'm like, I just touch it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just for a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
There's a reason that people say for centuries, yeah, I could get back into nature
Hmm.
because it does so much for you energetically in terms of the
Yes.
grounding. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we kind of went down that path thinking about the idea that, um, why do we put off our dreams?
Mm.
And I think I told you I was working with a woman who was 80 years old and hadn't been in a relationship for like 30 or 40 years and actually met someone through the work that we did, and they got married in her 80s.
Wow.
It's amazing, but when we notice what we're noticing, meaning if we notice what we're thinking, if we're thinking it's too late, I'm too old, I've never been successful at starting a business anyway, so why should I start now? If we can change those thoughts. So, Steve, one of the things that you may know, but maybe not everyone, our thoughts actually generate a feeling.
Mm.
When we have a thought, we generate a feeling, and then that feeling leads to an action that we're going to take. So if I'm thinking, oh, things aren't working out for me, I feel sad, I feel alone or lonely or whatever, then what action do I take? I withdraw. I have a
Mm.
girlfriend, I can always tell when she's depressed, she doesn't answer her phone.
Mm.
So she has a thought that leads to a feeling, and then the action is pulling away or getting in bed or drinking too much or whatever it is. And then those determine the results that we get. A lot of people don't see that pattern. And if you are aware of what you're thinking and you pay attention to what's happening, you can actually interrupt that cycle. So, in other words, if I have a thought, oh, gee, I'm lonely, I can interrupt that thought. And one of the phrases I teach people to use is up until now. If I have a thought about something that's not a positive thought, when I make the statement up until now, my brain has an interrupt. My brain is interrupted with the normal uh, pattern of digging into the brain. So the phrase stuck in a rut comes from psychology, that when you think the same thought over and over and over again, you actually drive a groove deeper in your brain. And most of us think the same thoughts every day, over and
Yep.
over and over again.
Yep. 100%.
So if you want to interrupt that, you say up until now. So if I think, oh, gee, I'm so depressed, I say up until now. And then I reframe it. This is a time to go read a book. This is a time to pick up the phone and call someone. It's a very powerful statement, and it really does help a lot.
I'm on board your train.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
word now is the key in that
Yes.
phrase, I believe, because we
Mhm,
always talk about living in the now, living in the
mhm,
present. And if
mhm.
you are, pick anything, if you are depressed, I'll betcha you're connecting it to something from the past.
Absolutely.
And you're stuck there. It's like
Mhm.
molasses. It's like quicksand on
Yes.
your feet. You just can't get past it
Mhm.
until now.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It just I something happens to me when I hear myself saying that up until now. It breaks me free of that thought, and it allows me to move in a different direction.
Mm. Do you find, Christina, that once you start working on yourself with these principles, these phrases, the mindset, that you can quicker move forward? Like we
Yes.
all have, those negative thoughts, like, oh, there's
Mhm.
one day's not the best. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you might have a positive thought. It could be anything. What you're doing later, making a steak for dinner, haven't had one in a month, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Whatever gives you joy, elates you. When you start doing this stuff, you change right away. It's almost
Absolutely.
as if like, oh, I'm a new person now.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
weird.
like you have you're encapsulated or chained by a lot of different chains.
Yeah.
And you have a thought that goes against the grain of what you normally think, and it's like one chain breaks off.
Hmm.
And if the more you do that, another chain breaks off. And then these chains break off, and then next thing you know, you're moving closer to being in a state of flow. Some people are traditionally victims. Everything happens to them.
Hmm.
And then some people elevate through learning or coaching or whatever, and they move to a place of uh, not just things happening to me, but happening things with me. And what that means is that begin to understand that I'm co-creating some of the things that are showing up in my existence. Not all, some things, by the way I think. And then we can move to a place where we're really in a state of flow. And that state of flow is like, it's magical. It's a time where sort of, everything is happening pretty fast. And then you get to the enlightenment stage. And the enlightenment stage is you are one with the universe. Like there's no time can go by. Like I can imagine some of the great musicians like Mozart and artists like Michelangelo, they lost track of time
Yeah.
and space. They were so into what they were doing that they were just one.
Connected. Connected
Yes,
to themselves, connected to their purpose.
yes.
I look at it this way as well. We talk about energy, right?
Hmm.
And that's the
Hmm.
grounding mat and all of that.
Hmm.
When my dog comes in the house from the outside to the inside, most times what he does, the first thing he does is he shakes.
Yes.
And I always looked at that as like, oh, the wind was blowing and his fur is in a different position and he just wants it a
Hmm.
certain way. But after talking to animal communicators, observing and all that, no, what the dog is doing is shaking the energy from the outside off so he can transition to the energy to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And even with what we're talking about here up until now, that phrase, that's almost like the shake. It's almost like
Yeah.
shaking something off. And I'm going to
Yes.
be honest, and this is going to be sound crazy. I could be driving in the car and I have a thought, and it's not a supporting thought.
Hmm.
You think I'm crazy, by watching my dog, I will just shake my head for a second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you're slapping yourself. Hey,
Yeah.
wait, whoa,
Yeah.
wait a minute
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That thought's not
Mm-hmm.
important. Yeah, let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, I'm back now. I don't know, works for me,
Yeah,
just
no,
a quick
I
wake up.
have people that I work with. One person said just the other day in our group section, she said, when I have a thought that's not productive, she says, I say cancel, delete.
Mm.
Get that out of here.
Funny you should say that because I do that occasionally too.
Do
And
you?
I
Do you
think of
know
it
my friend?
I think of it in terms of media
Hmm.
recording. So it's
Hmm.
like stop, rewind.
Yes.
And it's as if I'm going to re-record that moment.
Hmm.
There's the piece of media I'm recording to. Back in the day, it was tape. Hit stop, rewind, and now hit record and do it over again.
Yeah, Steve, you know what? I love that because one of the things that I have done very successfully and have helped other people do is let's say they have an interaction with someone at work and it doesn't go very well. And the person I'm talking to feels like they didn't handle that situation very well. What I encourage them to do is to replay that scenario in their head
Mm,
and see it with a different outcome. See them saying something or doing something different. You know, how many times do we
mm,
walk away from a person or a situation and say, darn, I wish I had thought of saying this, or I wish I had handled this way. The point is that when we take the time to do that, I can guarantee you we will be in a very similar situation sometime in the near future. And if we have rehearsed
mm.
sort of how we would handle it, we will be much more effective next time.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Even a scenario, I do it. If I'm going to an event, party, gathering, whatever it is, I already played in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I already know what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly, most times call it intuition. I don't know. Most times it turns out to be just what I envisioned it to. And I wrestle with, did I manifest that? Or did I have, third eye foresight into maybe into the future?
Steve, so many people don't realize the powers, the how the laws of the universe work. And I know we've had this conversation before, but most people know about gravity, but there are so many laws that are in place that if people knew what these laws were, number one, if
Hmm.
people took advantage of these, they could elevate their energetic level to the point of really being in a state of flow a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, people could be in a state of flow where they're manifesting what they're seeing, they're living from their highest purpose and really feeling a lot of joy, manifesting abundance. It's like
Yeah.
all of that is all tied together.
Mm. I went to an event last night, networking event. My friend threw the event. It was at a different type of venue. So I did, what am I going to wear? So I just visualized what it's going to be like. And I'm glad what I wore fit exactly what it needed to.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
others were texting me like, oh, I don't know what to wear. What do I wear? Is it, should I dress up? Should I dress down? Blah, blah, blah. And I just shared what I felt. But
Mhm.
I didn't feel like it was underdressed or
Right,
overdressed. It
right.
was, I honestly got to tell you, just the way I thought it was going to be. And that's all good. And that's all
That's
good.
good. That's good.
It's
I like
weird.
it.
I love it. I love doing it.
I
It's like
know.
because you're prepared. You feel even and very much to your point a moment ago in a situation, play it in your head how you want it to go. Let's say it's a challenging conversation with someone. Almost like rehearse it, how
Mhm.
it's going to go so then you don't beat yourself up afterwards with the I should have said this or I'm sorry I said that or I shouldn't have said that, whatever it might be. It's amazing the power of the mind when you start tapping into it.
Hey, look, I have to tell you this. This is real quick. Once upon a time, I had worked for a company for quite some time, and all of a sudden they merged with another company, and there was a lot of confusion that was going on at this time because there were two companies coming together. The cultures were very different. There was a person put in charge of managing office space and computers and all this stuff.
Mm,
Long story short, for whatever reason, she did not like me. And even though I was a manager, I was the only manager that she didn't a sign-on office. Now, do I really care about that? No. But there were times where I needed to have private conversations with my team members, and I'm sitting out in the middle of the customer service floor.
Wow.
And at the same time, I had a new boss. And I'm an adult. I can't go to my boss and say, look, this person won't play fair with me. I have to handle this. I started going home every night for about 2 months, Steve, thinking he's going to fire me because I look inept. I look like I don't have my stuff together. And there was a lot going on around me. And then I said, no, 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 no. You know how this works. I started thinking every day, you are the best thing since sliced bread.
Mm-hmm.
For this company. You are the best. And I kept thinking that for about 2 weeks. And one day he called me in his office and he said, close the door.
Ruh-roh.
Had he said that 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, yep, this is it. I'm out. Do you know what he said to me, Steve? You're not going to believe this.
Say it.
You are the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
I had never said that to anybody at work. I didn't even say it to anybody at home. What came out of his mouth was exactly what I was thinking. You're the best thing since sliced bread.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so cool. It's like, that's how it works.
Yes.
Before we close here, I just want to share something. This is inspiration from you a few weeks ago. I've been putting off a vision board forever. I believe in it. Is it really going to make a difference? I'm busy. I'll get to it. There was even a point in August, months ago, I was on a train. I'm like finding pictures. All right, let me, start put it off. Did it a few days ago. It's right there on the wall. Mm-hmm. I cannot stop looking at it. It's almost like a magnet. And then I realized as I'm looking at it, I'm focusing just because the placement of the pictures, this was one category, that's another 8.5 by 11, just one sheet. Now I'm thinking I should break it off into 3 separate categories where it would be 3 papers. But I just can't stop looking at it. It's the weirdest thing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Right? It's amazing.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
That's right. That's right.
You help us unpack all of this stuff. Best way to find you, how do we do that?
Sure. I am at mydreamsaccomplished.com, or you can call me directly at 202-630-0382. 202-630-0382. Yes.
Start the conversation, start the change. And as we said, it's never too late to make those dreams happen. And remember that phrase, up until now. The reset. Yes. That's a reset button.
That is a reset button. Yep.
Awesome. All right, Kristina, appreciate it. We'll talk soon, all right?
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.